Welcome to our channel. We are Tina and Norm, and we talk all things retirement, some travel, and a lot about Portugal these days. And today we're going to talk about
Portuguese food for you to try in the Algarve. And we're going to tell you some of our favourite things, aren't we, Norm?
we are Teen. Because when we go to the Algarve, it's normally in the winter time, and we're there for a month or two.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we like to buy in the grocery stores to make our time there even happier.
That's true. And one of my favourites to go, as you know, we love coffee. So one of my favourites is buying the half and half cream, which is packaged very differently in the Algarve. They're in little tiny cartons, aren't they?
Individual portions.
And so instead of buying a big carton, you get these little ones, which is actually really nice because I just pop one in my coffee, and that's one of my favorites.
So it's a package of 10
Yeah.
of these little containers, and you find them in the refrigerated area where the dairy is. But it took us the longest time to find Tina her half and half, because I drink coffee black.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it took a lot of hunting to find that, didn't it?
it did. And you can get these at Continent, and you can also get them at Aldi as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're out traveling and we get back to the apartment a little later, it's nice just to be able to have something like a frozen dinner that you can pop in the microwave, possibly. And we found at Intermarché, they sell probably the best frozen bacalhau fish pie. It's basically salt cod in a pie. It's a national dish of Portugal, and we find it's the best one.
It's absolutely delicious, isn't it? And really, you're getting your own version of one of the main dishes that's done in a lot of the restaurants, isn't it?
It is, but it's
Yeah.
almost better than takeout, because you can have it in
Yeah.
your freezer back in your apartment.
Yeah.
And if you don't fancy cooking for one night, it's a quick fix. So bacalhau fish pie.
Excellent. Another of our favorites that we found is they do big packs of frozen mushrooms, and not
Yeah.
just ordinary mushrooms. They have all different shapes and sizes and makes of mushrooms, and they come in a big purpose easy bag to keep in the freezer, don't we? We think it's great.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a real variety of different types of mushrooms. And we normally get those in Continent. And we like them because they don't go off. So
that's-
if you want
Yeah.
to have some for breakfast, or you just want to put them into some dish, you just pour out as many as you need and then keep them. So in the freezer, I don't know why Canada doesn't have frozen mushrooms.
We have looked everywhere, haven't we? But a big plus for Portugal, isn't it?
It really is.
Oh, so this is definitely one after my heart, Norm, and that has to be J&P wine.
But-
Oh,
But there's always a story behind what we're saying. So we were in Albufeira looking for a shortcut way to get into Lidl from we'd been to the windmill, which is quite difficult to find.
yeah.
So we're walking down this street, and there's a few houses there, and there was a gentleman who was doing some work in his house. And so he as we walked by, he said hi, and turned out to be from Quebec
Yeah.
in Canada. And he'd bought this house, and so he was, we just chatted for half an hour or so, and he said, oh, if you like a really nice wine, I can recommend the J&P red wine, and it's on sale in Lidl right now. And he says, I've just been there to buy a case of it because it's so inexpensive and it's a great wine. So
Yeah,
what did we do, Teen?
So what did we do? We listened to his story and we went straight over there and we bought
Some J&P.
J&P wine, and we actually bought red and white because
did.
they do both. And I tell you, it as he said, it was a fantastic deal.
And it's nearly
Yeah.
always on sale. Every
Yeah.
few weeks you'll see one of the supermarkets have it on sale. So J&P wine, highly recommended.
It's wonderful, isn't
So
it?
the other must-have when you're in the Algarve, Portugal, is pastel de nata. And we sort of think of them as custard tarts because we used to have something similar in England. So once again, you'll probably find these on a Friday evening on sale in Continent Supermarket.
Yeah.
And depending on when you go, they'll either be in 4-packs or 6-packs. And they're normally right in the front of the entrance as you come in because they want to sell a lot of those. And they're just absolutely wonderful. They're baked in store and goes great with coffee.
Oh,
So-
wonderful, aren't they?
So we always look out on a Friday because Continent nearly always has them on sale, and it's something like €1.99
Yeah.
for a pack.
Great deal, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
So it's well worth stopping by Continent and stocking up on your.
That we rent an apartment. Often there isn't that special little glass, is the norm, to have a scotch or a glass of wine in.
A lot of them do a good job with
Yeah.
with what's available, but it tends to be, a couple of wine glasses, some coffee mugs, some plates, and there are often things missing, like for instance, a flipper for the frying pan to
Oh, yeah.
flip your eggs over, and
Yeah, we really.
and as I say, I quite like to have a glass of scotch at night, so we just go and buy a glass at Continent or one of the
Yeah.
supermarkets that have a housewares department, and you can normally get a really nice glass for €1.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
And if you're going to
Yeah.
be there a couple of months, you might as well
Yeah.
do that.
It's nice to have your own glass, isn't it?
Or if you don't mind what scotch you're drinking, a lot of the whiskies and other liqueurs will have box sets where it comes with a glass or 2 glasses. So we've done that as well in the past. But
another good
don't be
idea.
afraid. If you need a can opener, go buy a can opener.
Yeah, we definitely made use of the flipper for the eggs, didn't we?
We did.
That
We
was
even-
great.
And we brought them home with us in our carry-on as well.
Yeah. So we didn't leave them behind, did we?
No,
It
we're
was-
not that wasteful.
That was very handy.
The problem with doing videos that involve Portuguese names is we do not know how to pronounce them. So, cut us a little slack in the comment section. One of the things we really like when we're in the Algarve is to buy the Portuguese liqueur Beiro. And it's just an exquisite flavour. It's uniquely Portuguese. There's nothing quite like it. It's not an orange-based one that's popular around the world. It's their own recipe, and it's there's nothing nicer than watching the sun go down in the evening and having a nice glass of birrio as you're watching that. And we would highly recommend it to you. They do all different sizes. We got a little gift pack there with 2 souvenir glasses. So it's very much like a sherry type liqueur where you don't drink masses of it, but you savor what you do, and the taste is just exquisite.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's almost a little warming, isn't it, Norm,
Yeah.
when you have it? We fell in love with it, didn't we?
Very much so. So that's definitely something that we always buy when we go over to stay in the Algarve during winter time.
Another one of my favorites is a Galau coffee. And it's really a sort of latte coffee, isn't it, Norm?
It is very milky coffee.
And it's turned into one of my favorites. And we were actually introduced it when we went into a little coffee shop in Armico de Pera.
Yes.
And the lady, we were describing what sort of thing, and she said, "You should have a galoo." And we were like, "Oh, wow." And it really is wonderful. It's a favorite of mine. It's almost like a 3-layered coffee with lots of frothy milk in.
And it comes in a beautiful glass normally, so it's a bit like an Irish coffee that you might get in a high-end restaurant, but you'll get this in every cafe in Portugal and in the Algarve, and it's for those who like cream in your coffee or a latte. Order a glau, and that'll be the nearest thing to a latte that you're going to get. So another must-try in the Algarve specifically is stopping at one of the roadside stands and buying a bag of oranges, fresh off the tree. And the fortunate thing is that in the wintertime when we're there, sort of January, February, March, it's their season. You can see oranges growing on the trees. And so you can stop by the roadside and they'll sell about 3 different sizes of packs of oranges. And they're beautiful to eat just as a fresh orange, or juice them, but just be careful you don't drink too much of that juice, otherwise it might have bathroom issues, as we already found out.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
But there's nothing quite like eating Portuguese oranges in the Algarve in February and getting that little taste of summer. So the regular beer in Portugal and down in the Algarve is really just what we would call like a lager or a pilsner, something akin to Heineken, and they're very good at doing it, and you can get the little stubby bottles. You can get it extremely cheap in comparison to Canada. But they do some speciality ones as well. The big breweries do. So one of the ones that we discovered was a Guinness style stout that Superboc does, and well, Sagres does it as well, but we just happened to get the Superboc, and it's like a black beer, very similar to Guinness, and it's available everywhere, and it has a very, very nice flavour. It's sort of not quite as bitter as Guinness, so it's a mix between a Heineken and a Guinness, if you can kind of get the drift of that. Is, how does Tina get her tea in bed in a Portuguese country where you can't understand the language on the box of the teas, and it seems totally foreign? So how do you get breakfast tea in a supermarket so you can take the tea bags home to your apartment and brew tea? So what is it, tea?
It is now, I've forgotten the name of
Chai Preto.
That's it.
So CHEPRETO, and you'll see it under the brand of Tetley. There's not an English word on the box other than Tetley, but that's your breakfast tea if you'd like to get that in the supermarkets, and it's readily available everywhere. It's just we had a young couple come up to us. They were English.
Oh, yeah.
We were buying some coffee actually, but it's still in the same section. And they said, did we happen to know what British breakfast tea, what they should be choosing? So we'd already found that out. So we pointed them in the direction of the Tetley Chai Preto.
So they were very happy with that.
They were.
And in actual fact, we were introduced to it, Norm, weren't we? The first time we actually went to stay in the Algarve. The place that we stayed at gave us like a little sample pack, didn't they, of coffee filters, coffee, and actually these tea bags, which was wonderful, because otherwise we wouldn't have known about them, would we? No,
we were very fortunate. Our first apartment did have they just had a basket of things for the first 24 hours until you managed to get to a supermarket. So at least you could have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee.
It was
which
great,
was
wasn't
very
it?
nice.
Yeah.
So remember, chai pretto, and we know we're pronouncing that wrong too.
I hope that you enjoy some of what we've found.
So we hope that you're all staying safe,
And keeping well.
and until the next time,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.